everybody's ready. Okay.
The Roaring Twenties. These were the years of prosperity, blabbers, and women got the right to vote. On the latter end, we saw the greatest economic depression in history. These were the years that my grandmother was born. Although she didn't have the wealthiest life, she never let that get her down, and through it all, she has shown me what love truly is. Gloria Elizabeth King was born on June 1st, 1924, born to William L. and Henrietta Smith. She was the firstborn of 2 sisters and 3 brothers. Her and her sister were the only children until her brother was born 17 years later. On October 24th, 1929, 5 years after she was born, 12.9 million shares of stock were sold. This was the triple amount on a normal day. Over the next 4 days, stock prices fell 23% and the stock market crashed. This was known as Black Thursday. All in all, the Great Depression lasted for 10 years. There were very little jobs for Black women during this time. Her mom worked as a domestic for the officers at Norfolk Naval Shipyard. She helped with the children, helped clean, helped cook. Her dad worked as a truck driver for Ames and Brownlee. Although they didn't have much, her parents made sure that her and her siblings were clothed and fed. This is something that my grandma always admired about her parents. They never gave up. When she was 6 years old and it was time for her to go to school, her neighbors told her about this new school that was opening called Our Lady of Victory. It was an all-Black Catholic school. My grandparents didn't grow up Catholic, but this was something that she could go to because at this time it was segregated and she couldn't go to school with white children. When the school first opened, there was only 1st and 2nd grade, and it only cost 10 cents a week. Every year they added a new class, and my grandma was the 2nd graduating class. After high school, my grandma left Virginia to live with her aunt in New York. She wanted to be a nurse, but when she went to Harlem Hospital, she decided it wasn't for her. Then she moved back to Virginia because she didn't want to be so far from home. She got a job working at a bag factory because her parents couldn't afford to send her to college. When she graduated, she got a $75 scholarship. That may not seem a lot to us, but you could actually go to school on that. But the only school around here that Blacks could afford to go to was Norfolk State, and her parents couldn't afford to send her there. When she was about 18, World War II started, and she started going to the USO with some of her friends. The USO is the United Services Organization, is a nonprofit organization that provides programs, services, and live entertainment for the U.S. military and their families. This is where she met my grandfather, Ralph King. He was a cook in the Navy. They only dated for about a month before they got married. They had a small wedding at her grandma's house, and 3 days later, he left for sea. Within the first year, they had their first child, Ermina. Throughout the years, they had 12 children. My dad was number 5, Philip King. My grandparents have been married for this year 73 years. I've never seen like a love so good between my grandparents. Like even when they're apart, it's like a part of them is missing, another one's not. Similarities between me and my grandmother, she's a provider. Although I didn't grow up poor, I grew up in the middle class. I've been working since I was 15. And my mom's a single mother, so sometimes I do have to help her out. My grandma never really worked outside of the home, but being a homemaker is just as important. With 12 kids, she had to take them to school, clean, cook, do everything around the house. But she's also a lover. I like to think that I'm soft and pink inside. We both wear our hearts on our sleeves. My grandma is someone I look up to, someone I can count on any day to have a great conversation with. I formed a bond with her like no other, and I only can aspire to be half the woman that she is.